Welcome to Talking Grit, a Detroit Lions podcast. Powered by the Monroe County Reporters. Here are your hosts, Jason Harwood and Jacob Litton.
How am I going to start it off this time, Jacob? I'm going to go with welcome to Talking Grit. I am Jason Harwood. With me is my good friend, a guy who's annoyed with me only 50% of the time, maybe more. I'll let him answer for that. It's Jacob Litton. How you doing, Jacob?
Good. You had almost a normal introduction. I wasn't ready for that one. That wasn't on my bingo card for you to just act cool.
Yeah, just act cool. That's never on anyone's bingo card.
Right.
I mean, that is... I mean, for you, that's the free square. I mean, that's a given. I mean, but for me, no, I'm off the board. No. How you doing, man? What's new? The kids are home
good,
now
man.
all day.
Kids are home, working remote. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Every little bit, being able to go out there and see them, and a lot more family time. So it's been great.
That's cool.
Tigers have been winning.
Yeah. Ever since I
no thanks to you.
Them. Yeah, exactly. No, it's because of me.
Yeah,
I denounced
maybe.
them, and now they're back. We'll see. I don't know.
For everybody listening, Jason was a non-believer. Right away, I said, you know what? We're back. The bats are hot. This is like before they even won that first game. I was like, we're back. And Jason said, it's too late.
I did say that. And then they were up 6-0 in that game and then won 10-9. And I was like, yeah, this is.
Yeah, it was very close.
And
that would have been your fault. That if they lost, that would have been your fault. But they didn't, so you're fine. And now they're on a hot streak. So
all right,
we will take it. Playing some better baseball.
Yep. My boy is still in driver's training. He's been driving every day. He needs lots of practice, as all young drivers do. So that's a little bit of stress that's going on in my life, but he's getting better, and I'm loving it. And he had some very frustrating moments. No close calls or anything like that. It's just, and you forget how difficult driving really is until you're trying to teach a young person to do it. Like, you think of all the things that you think and see on, like, just driving. Because I was talking out loud. Like, that's what we started like a couple months ago before he's even driving. Like, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm paying attention to. And you're like, I am doing so much more than really what I thought I was. But he's doing good. I'm getting used to it. I am still hanging on to the oh crap bar kind of the whole time. Not anything really what he's doing driving. It's just, it's nerve-wracking because you don't know what he doesn't know. Like, is he going to see the stop sign? Does he see this red light? Like, and besides anybody getting hurt or the car getting damaged, it's like the confidence issue. I don't want to kill his confidence before he gets his license. So dealing with all that, but other than that, it's been all good, man.
That's a tough spot to be in because you don't want to, be like yelling or even like, you're giving him pointers, but you don't want to talk too much. Like you said, it's a confidence thing. And like, maybe they know what they're doing, but at the same time, you're like, they're not slowing down quick enough. Please hit the brakes, So yeah, I can see how that would be a little bit of a stressful time for you guys.
It is, but it's good. It's amazing that we're here. It goes by real quick. So all you young parents that haven't got there, Jacob, you're going to be there very soon. It just goes by real quickly. So, all right, let's move on to, we got a comment on Spotify, which is real nice. We like to read those. This was from one of our listeners, Ian Gunner. Says, hi guys, Ian here from Wales, UK. So I don't know if Ash is bringing in all these people. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe he listened because of Ash. Maybe he's just been here for a while. But he says, been following the Lions for about 4 years now, and you guys are my main podcast for everything Lions. Just signed up to go watch the Lions in Germany, so congrats on that. And can't wait. Keep up the good work. So thanks for listening, Ian. Enjoy Germany. I did follow up and ask him, I don't know if you saw this, I asked him what jersey he's going to wear, and he said it's either an Amon-Ra or he has a Rock Ya-Sin jersey, which is
wow. Cool. All right,
yeah.
Ian.
Yeah. So I was kind of surprised about the Rock jersey, but that's cool. That leads right into what we're going to talk about today, actually.
Hey, right. Definitely be interested in hearing from Ian after the Germany game to see what that experience was like.
Yes.
So, Ian, if
100%.
you're listening, definitely leave us a comment after that game.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe I think Ash is going to be there, so maybe we'll get Ian and Ash on, and they could tell us what happened in Germany.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to get some firsthand accounts of their experience over there. All right, Lions OTAs still going on. They have not announced what day they're going to, beat writers are going to be there this week. So I don't really know. They were there last Thursday. Bad news starting right out, right, Jacob? Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, right after our, wide receiver talk and everything like that, Kendrick Law, the rookie, tore his ACL and is out for the season.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, that's the worst thing you want to happen in OTAs are injuries like that to come up. So very bad news for Kendrick. One less person fighting for that roster spot there because we talked about it, pretty much guaranteed a spot being a 5th round pick, we would think. So
yeah,
opens up a little more competition. Gotta be frustrating for him. You feel for him, rookie trying to prove himself in the OTAs, and it's over before it started for him.
I know. You get so excited, get through the combine, get drafted, and then that happens. I feel for him as a person, and obviously he's a 5th round pick, so you're not going to be devastating to the Lions team. But you drafted this guy for a reason. We thought he'd be a good special teams contributor, at least his first year, and he's just going to be a year behind, which kind of stinks. And then you're hoping that he can come out of the injury and be the same explosive player that he was pre-ACL injury. So
right.
So hopefully he can recover. The only other thing that really, I thought Dan Campbell had the same demeanor as he did the other, or no, Dan Campbell, I don't think really talked this one, he did beforehand. He same demeanor, really isn't anything to talk about there, but Drew Petzing talked, and I really enjoyed that press conference. Did you have a chance to listen?
I
to that
missed that one. No, I did not.
Okay.
So give me the rundown. What did you like? I mean,
You
it's early on, a lot of coach speak, but what do you say?
It was
that
a lot of
you?
coach speak, but it was just like he seems like he has an answer. He seems like he's like you kind of wonder because he like said this almost same thing as John Morton is like I don't need to change too much because of what we got going on here, but it was more than that. It was like being prepared for all these situational awareness stuff. Like it just seems like there's going to be better communication this year, which I think was a huge issue with John Morton last year, especially the offensive line. We saw how bad they came out early on as far as communicating, not being able all on the same page. I don't think that's going to be an issue this year. Every time he talks, Jacob, I feel more confident that he's the right guy to lead this offense.
I mean, right away, his introduction, press conference, everything. I feel like he's been saying a lot of the right stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see once training camp starts and everything like that, how quickly things change. Because, it wasn't like we had any sort of, I didn't feel any sort of way about Morton either, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I think that we're going to be okay. I think he's just going to take keep the ball rolling. And that was not the case at all.
Yeah. Yeah. The more Morton talked, he just kept saying the same things over and over again. And
right.
and that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad coach, right? I mean, he doesn't want to give too much away. Maybe he doesn't feel comfortable in that, just in the press conference situation. You can't judge just on that. I know that there was a big hoopla about him being up in the box instead of being down low. I know for one that you didn't like that. Drew Petzing's going to be on the sideline, and I know you're going to be excited about that. We're going to get back to, talking directly to the quarterback, getting that feel for the game. I think that I am excited about that. I don't think necessarily being up in the box is bad, but I do think there are advantages for being down on the field.
Yeah. Well, you already said, you know how I feel. I do not like them being up in the box. They need to be on the field. You need to be able to directly communicate with whatever you're saying. They're down there. You see, they're talking the entire time. When the defense is out there, they're talking and they're game planning the entire time. Mm-hmm. You can't do that via the tablet and, the different things that they're trying to do. It's just not the same.
Right.
So I definitely like them.
You get a better feel of like body language and all that stuff too, right? If you're directly with them, urgency, like you can get across so much more. So I do like that. And
the talking with the other staff.
Mm-hmm.
You can be on the phone at one time, but I mean, if you're talking to Dan Campbell or any of your other assistants that are down there and any of the players, you just are missing a big part of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the other thing I want to talk about before we we're doing our position series again. We're doing defensive backs, so we're going to talk about cornerbacks, safeties. Before we do that, something that I am really passionate about, Jacob may see this and how I view this, and I'm kind of curious your interpretation of this Brendan Soresby stuff that's coming out. So if you're unfamiliar with what's going on, Brendan Soresby it's been reported that he's, gambled on games, even games when he was with Indiana. I'm pretty sure he fully admitted this, but it's been reported that he bet on games with Indiana when he was there. It's reported up to like $90,000 over the last 3 years. So he went to Indiana, Cincinnati, and now he's going to Texas Tech this year. Could be a possible first round pick next year. If he wasn't going to be reinstated, they were maybe going to have the draft the summer where they do the, I can't remember what, I forgot, compensatory draft. So they'll do, you would have to give up a pick next year to get, you could bid on him, but that's not going to happen because
I believe that's how Terrell Pryor got drafted, right?
Okay.
Was that not the same situation?
I cannot remember if it was Pryor. Because that was Tattoo Gate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the third round of the supplemental draft. Terrell Pryor was drafted, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Supplemental draft is the one I was looking for. So that we thought that might happen this summer, but no, the judge rules that he is currently reinstated and able to play for Texas Tech this year. So when that ruling came down, what was your first thought, Jacob?
I was very surprised. I mean, it seemed like a cut and dry thing for me. Like if you're gambling on football, if you're gambling on games that you're potentially a part of or teams that you're a part of, that's always just been like 100% red flag. Like you're done. You're completely ruled ineligible to compete. So I, right away I had to look into it because it's like, what reason would they possibly have to, reinstate him and push him, push this off? What were you thinking though? I mean, I didn't see it coming for sure.
It's utter crap. It sends the wrong message across the board that, oh, I could gamble. I'll jump into Gamblers Anonymous. I'll jump into, rehab and state that I feel bad. Like, no, you're gambling $90,000. And I think he was gambling underage too, because I don't know if he would have been of age to gamble at Indiana. But, and then I think when he was gambling in Texas, it's been reported that he might have been like it wasn't legal in that state, so he had family members doing it for him. It's obvious he had an issue. I don't think that issue necessarily goes away, but and it's against NCAA rules. But I don't know how a judge can reinstate him. It just sends a bad message to everybody.
Right. And I didn't like the language behind. So they pushed it off until like February, which is when the season's going to be over anyway. That's when they pushed it off, and they reinstated him and said that the reason that they had to reinstate him is that because of it had something to do with like his mental health, but also the fact that he would have been banned from the facilities. And they were like, he's still a student athlete. He still should have access to these facilities. And somehow the NFL draft came up too. Like he's preparing like for his future with the draft and everything. And this could be damaging for him to not be able to utilize all of these things while we're still going through the legal process. So it's almost like, even though they have like an admission that he did these things, they're still wanting to play it out in the legal system, and they're just kicking this down the road until the season's over. And obviously he's not going to care at that point.
Yeah, it's called consequences, man. You did something, like there's no question whether betting on your own team. I mean, you could say, well, I was betting on, a team across the country that's out of our, conference. Didn't matter. No, you're betting on your own team. And I don't care if you're betting for them, against them. You shouldn't be betting on the sport that you're a part of. And frankly, I don't like the idea of these athletes, no trainers. They know people across all the businesses. They're going to have inside information. I feel very uneasy about all athletes being able to gamble. But in this instance, you're betting on the team that you're playing, and I just don't understand why does NCAA have any rules? And I'm not saying I'm with NCAA on everything, but this is just common sense. Like like Pete Rose is banned from baseball. Like, well, couldn't even get in the Hall of Fame, and now we're gonna say, oh, he should play another year of college football because it might hurt him. Well, maybe he shouldn't have made that choice about gambling, right?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. The whole consequences to your actions thing in this day and age, a lot of times does not exist anymore.
No.
And it's just wild.
It's just unfair. There are teams that are trying to, they won't schedule Texas Tech as, an opponent, just, as a punishment, saying that this isn't right. Because Texas Tech is standing behind Soresby because they want him on the team. And that's the only reason, right? I mean, it's self-fun.
And, integrity means something, but it's also because he, is a mid-round NFL draft pick and will help the team out. If this was their, third-string quarterback, this wouldn't even be as big of news, and he would have been kicked, and they had kicked him out of school and everything already. It's 100% because of the level of player that he is. But you also have to wonder, do NFL teams, because he's a quarterback, you want your quarterback to have better decision making and be a leader. Certain NFL teams, I'm sure, would just take him off the board. Like, I don't want to touch any part of this if this is the type of person that he is.
Yep. And I
maybe not the Browns. Maybe that's what he's hoping for.
God, man, just throw them in that room. That would be, those content creators just have so much to deal with over there. But yeah, it just floors me that I'm really upset about it. And, part of it is like, there's so much money in gambling, and that's where all the money is. I mean, all the revenue comes from that. The leagues are all involved with it, which is really a huge conflict of interest in and of itself. But money talks in this day and age. It just is a terrible look, and I don't like any of it. And, I don't know if it's enough for me to root against this kid to have a bad season. I don't want that necessarily, but he just shouldn't play this season. Maybe I just want Texas Tech to have a bad year for just having bad moral decision.
Well, if he thought he was under a microscope before about the NFL draft stock, it's way increased now. And now this is constantly going to be asked everywhere that he goes, every away game that they have, maybe even home games, he's going to be heckled like ruthlessly. So really going to test his mental strength now.
Oh, yeah. Hold out money, acting, betting on the signs that are going to be out there. Insane. Will they put it in NCAA 27, though? EA Sports put it in NCAA 27. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
Right.
Yeah. All right. This is a friendly reminder for everybody to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Watch us live on YouTube, right at youtube.com/@TalkingGrit or Twitter @TalkingGritPod. You could see all my funny musings, and Jacob will only play. The last time he posted, I think, was a prayer for Tom Brady and the Pistons. He might have posted since then. I'm not sure, but that's what I remember.
The prayer worked.
It did.
Don't knock the prayer. The prayer worked.
I know. I was wondering why you didn't break it out for the Cleveland series. You didn't want to jinx it.
I feel like God only lets me use that ever so often, so I've got to keep that one in the holster. There's got to be some sort of limit, but I can't talk to God and find out how often. So I really got to save that for rainy days.
Did you use it at halftime of the Lions San Francisco? Actually, it would have been like at the end of the
I wouldn't need, right. No. You got to use it at halftime, and I couldn't.
Yeah. All right. We're going to talk about the Lions and NFC North defensive back. So I have that broken down how the team's website has them broken down. So you might say, well, that person is definitely a quarterback, not a safety. This is how the team's website breaks them down. And we'll kind of talk about them further a little bit, but that's how I have them broken down on the slide. What's interesting is the Bears have right now they have every defensive back, like every cornerback, safety, or hybrid. They're all listed as defensive backs. So that was really confusing when I was putting this together. But let's start off here with the Lions defensive back room. And I'll let you go, Jacob, and I'll take over I think you know all these names. I'll take the difficult names on the next slides.
Okay, we'll see. All right, Lions defensive back room, starting with the corners. Terrion Arnold, DJ Reed, Rocky Sin, Ennis Rakestraw, Roger McCreary, Khalil Dorsey, Keith Abney, Deshaun Rucker, Nick Whiteside. Listed as defensive backs on the Lions website, it looks like, are Brian Branch, Christian Isian, Avante Maddox, and Amaris Brown. And then safeties, Kirby Joseph, Thomas Harper, Chuck Clark, Lauren Strickland, Dan Jackson.
All right. What are your thoughts about this room in general? Are you happy with it? Wish we had more depth? What's your thoughts?
I just think it's a young room, right? And I think the biggest question mark, obviously, is going to be the health of Kirby and Brian Branch. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that we have is if they are full strength, full healthy. Terrion Arnold, he was limited. He did, he was out there in OTAs. We don't know exactly how that's going to go yet. DJ Reed kind of had an up and down year last year, but Rock proved to be a good player. Ennis Rakestraw, when we've seen him in person, has looked really good. He just can't get on the field. And then Roger McCreary, obviously, Keith Abney. I mean, I like the defensive back room. I just think that it's a really young, really unproven group.
Yep. I like what the Lions did in this room, considering the injuries to Branch and Joseph. If Branch and Joseph come into this season healthy, then this is a super. I'm very happy with this room. As it speaks right now, I'm actually still pretty positive about this room. I think Terrion's a good cornerback. Now, it's really sucks because he, is, in the same. He's drafted with Quinyon Mitchell, who's, a really top cornerback in this league. Always got to compare to them. Had injuries last year, had penalty problems throughout his career. I really saw some growth last year until he got injured. I thought he played really well in that Bengals game until he, ends up messing up his shoulder, comes back probably too soon, messes up his shoulder, he's out. DJ Reed was two different players last year. Pre-injury, really good, really solid cornerback. Post-injury, he was getting burned, and I fully believe that he just wasn't. I don't think that was a real DJ Reed. I think that he came back, and we were trying to make it through. We had so many injuries in that room. DJ Reed probably felt pressure to come back, but it was obvious that he just didn't have the closing speed that he normally does, and just wasn't able to produce at his same level. However, both those injuries led to a discovery of Rocky Sin, that he is a solid cornerback in this league. Plays the way the Lions like him to play. Tough up front. We'll get into the run game. I was so glad they brought him back. I feel good. Have those top three, I feel really good about those. Roger McCreary, who they signed, very solid. I'm surprised they got him for what they got him for. He was at PFF. He was a really high, like 25th cornerback. So he's one of the top cornerbacks listed in the league. Top 25 on PFF last year. I was glad to get him. He just adds depth. He could play nickel. He could play cornerback, so that's good. Keith Abney was our steal of the draft too, right? A lot of people were super excited about getting him. Don't know if I expect too much from him this year. Hopefully he's not having to be forced on the field very much, but I do like the room that he's in. And then, if he really develops into like what everybody thought was like a third round pick, that could turn out to be a really, really nice grab there. Nick Whiteside, will he could continue to develop? Excited about that. One thing that Dan Campbell did say is that Izzian is playing basically in Kirby's spot, like in this OTAs. Now that could be because I thought he was going to be more of the Brian Branch role, but maybe they're just trying to see what they have here with Izzian. And I think this early in camp, if he gets late into training camp and he's still there, then we'll start to think that he has a possibility. But I think right now they're just putting him out there and to see, does he continue to develop? Can he play out there? So we'll see. That's a guy to keep an eye on, definitely in training camp. It's one guy that I'll be keeping an eye on. Where are they putting him at? Where they're going to be at? As far as
I feel like Rock was almost exclusively a safety during training camp, wasn't he? I mean, that's just where they had him.
Yep. Well, then when your top two corners go down, and then they had to pull him out of there. But they wanted to see what they had with Rock, and it's not said that Rock can't be out there too. But if he's your number 3 cornerback, you probably want you're going to need that depth at some point. So you don't want to risk him getting injured or, trying to, you want him to be ready to be a cornerback and not, spending all his time at safety. The rest of the room, I like what they did. Thomas Harper was a solid player last year. They brought him, he's back. Then they got veteran depth, right? They brought back Avonte Maddox. Chuck Clark came over. So those are your veterans that could come in, step in, especially early in the season, like if Kirby or Brian aren't back yet, until we develop some of the other guys, see how Izzian does, right? And then we got Lawrence Strickland back. Dan Jackson, I don't know what to really expect from him. I'm not expecting too much other than special team stuff.
Exactly. Coming back from the injury and everything too. But yeah, the cornerbacks, really, when you look at it, you think Terrion and JJ Reed are the starters. Who's the third one that you have on there? You have Rock. Rakestraw has been solid. Roger McCreary was good last year. Keith Abney could show out in training camp. That's a good problem to have, but that's why I said I just think they're unproven.
Yep.
I don't understand the Terrion hate. Like you said, I don't think he played bad last year. And to see him get negative grades on Pro Football Focus, and you brought up Quinion Mitchell, which is funny because he's actually one of the people that gets highlighted on Twitter or X. But a lot of these Pro Football Focus things, like they'll give up. Terrion gave up 2 touchdowns last year, and he's got like a 50 rating or something like that. One of those 2 touchdowns, though, it was like a blown coverage. It was way over top, and they put that on him. But then Quinion Mitchell is like man coverage and gets beat, on like a corner route, I think it was. And they did not count that as a reception or a touchdown against him. So it's just one of those things like, you have to take that with a grain of salt. And it's also just kind of like the popularity and the general consensus of the public. And Quinion Mitchell gets a lot of love and Terrion gets a lot of hate.
Yeah.
But Lions fans that are watching it, I just don't understand. He's proved to be a reliable cornerback. Yes, he had the injury issues, or he's had some injuries. He had the penalty issues early on. Those are things you have to battle through. But Terrion Arnold is 20. He just turned 23. I mean, he still has some solid years left. Like, I mean, this could, it's not out of, the possibility that he could turn into an all-pro cornerback.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to be an all-pro. Let's work on Pro Bowl first, but I think he's solid. So, like, I mean, I don't know if I think DJ Reed was still our number 1 and Terrion Arnold's number 2, but I think Terrion has the skills to be a number 1. He has always been tight in coverage. It's a matter of the penalties, right? And the problem is that once you get that label, it is so hard to get that label taken off you. I watched Quinion Mitchell, and when he was playing the Lions, he's touchy and grabby, like, but sometimes you just get the benefit of the doubt, and Terrion Arnold does not get the benefit of the doubt, unfortunately.
Right.
Hopefully that'll switch. All right. Anything else before we move on to the Vikings defensive back room?
Nope. Let's move on to those losers.
All right, the people in purple here. All right, I will.
Not as many people. First, it does not look like there's as many people in their room.
There is not as many people in their room. We have some undrafted free agents, but I mean, we were also snake bitten last year, right? We had so many injuries in that room, and plus we have the Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph that we're still dealing with. So those guys might be on the PUP list at the beginning of the year, or hopefully Kirby's starting. I don't know. They're very coy about that at the Lions room. But anyways, Viking defensive back, we got Byron Murphy Jr., Isaiah Rogers, James Pierre, who they signed from Pittsburgh this year. You got Dwight McGovern, Zamaya Vaughn, Charles Demings, Marcus Allen, Davion Armstead, Tyreek Chappelle. And in the safety room, you got Josh Metellus. We know who Josh Metellus is, right? Michigan. Theo Jackson. You got Khalif Halassi. There, I said it right. Halassi.
Nice.
I know. I'm proud.
You just got to say it with confidence, and it'll be fine, even if you're wrong.
Halassi. Yep. Zero snaps the last 2 years, but I definitely know him. I've seen plenty of tape. Tavir Thomas. You got Jay Ward. This is interesting. They have a Jacoby Thomas and a Jacob Thomas. That was like last year with DJ Reed and DJ Reader for us.
Are these brothers? Are they twins?
No, I don't. Are we brothers? No. All right, man. So like this room, Isaiah Rogers is probably the top, but James Pierre is actually, when you look at it, was the second ranked cornerback in all of the National Football League, according to PFF last year, which I was surprised. I did not expect to see that. And that is like the highest, that's an 86.2 rating. The previous 2 years was 56.2 and 40.4. And then he was a 69.9 and a 58.1. So this was his highest grade, in a long, highest grade ever. And after some pretty low grade. So interesting to see what happens there.
But you got to think covering number 2 and number 3 receivers. And he just hit 400 snaps. I think he just hit the minimum to even be rated.
Yeah, he started 5 games, only played 14. So I would say Isaiah Rogers is probably their number 1 corner on the team. James Pierre is in there. Byron Murphy's a solid addition. Their safety room, they lost Harrison Smith, which is going to be, a huge loss for them. That room, there's not very many snaps in that safety room right now after the starters.
Right. But the positive thing for them is that most of the starters are returning. You add James Pierre, like you said, you lose Harrison Smith. That's the big one. But at the same time, he kind of lost a step. He did not play, up to speed last year. I don't think that they've necessarily replaced him very well. I think that they've got, Jay Ward, who was a draft pick, and then Theo Jackson. I don't know. I'm not necessarily scared of the safeties here. We obviously know Josh Metellus from Michigan. I like him. He's a good leader. He can get beat in coverage. I think the cornerback group is solid, though.
Cornerback group is solid, especially at the top. But after that, I don't really know too much about them. But there's a lot of undrafted free agents down there. Safety room is safety room is a little, after the top. That's they do have Jacoby Thomas was a 3rd-round draft pick this year, so drafted 98th overall. But if you're expecting him to come in, that's a pretty big ask. Especially a Flores defense. Like that's a complicated defense. And you're asking, a lot of times you're asking those safeties to be one-on-one out there because they're blitzing everybody. So that'll be interesting to see how that works for them.
I think that also is why Metellus has had success there, is just because he, is smarter with the football instincts and everything with Flores defense. I think he knows where he's supposed to be and how to run that defense. Mm-hmm. Where Metellus lacks is that he's just not fast enough to cover sometimes.
Yep.
But, back to the corners, you've got Byron Murphy and Isaiah Rodgers. They both played almost 1,000 snaps last year. Mm-hmm. And that's solid to be able to stay healthy and be able to stay on the field as much as they had to. Because then you look at the Lions for comparison. Taryn only got 300 snaps in last year because of injuries. DJ Reed, 580. Rock played 600. And then McCreary obviously was not on the Lions, but he had 416 snaps. So not a lot of snaps from our, defensive back group. But then you flip over the Vikings. They've been playing a lot of snaps.
It's good. Nice statistical use there. All
you
right.
Like that?
I do. I like that. You showed out there. All right. I'll let you break down the Bears defensive back room. On the slide, I marked everything. Like I said, everything is marked as a defensive back. I put in safety where PFF had him listed as a safety.
All right. Let's see. Looking through these names, make sure you did get some pronunciation guides in here.
I did. Stepped it up.
There's only one or two that was an issue anyway. All right. Chicago Bears defensive backs, who are all listed as defensive backs, but you have Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Kobe Bryant, who played at safety, the rookie Dylan Thieneman, also safety, Kyler Gordon, Josh Blackwell, Dallas Flowers, Elijah Hicks, Anthony Johnson Jr., Jalen Jones, who was a safety, Cam Lewis, Dante Manning, Gervarius Owens, Terrell Smith, KC Ezumame, Malik Muhammad, and then Skylar Thomas, who is also a safety.
You got to be a little more confident in Ezumame. Come on, man.
Yeah, it froze for a second.
It did. All right.
That's not what it looks like.
I know. It's crazy.
Eziomume.
Right,
that's what it looks like.
What do you think about the Bears defensive back room?
Obviously, the Bears defensive back struggled last year. Jalen Johnson, had some good moments. Did not play very well last year. Tyreek Stevenson, we have beef with him and J-Mo.
Yeah.
They drafted Thieneman, which I don't like. I think he could be a really solid safety, so we'll see what happens there. Outside of them, I don't, a lot of people I have not heard of, or people that are not, maybe just not aware of the level of play that they're going to be getting out of them yet. Who do you see on there that you think,
well,
is a force, or,
So I'd say Jalen Johnson, if he's healthy, is a really good cornerback. But he was dealing with a lot of injuries last year, and I think just like DJ Reed came back and probably wasn't his self.
True.
Tyreek Stevenson, regardless of the beef with J-Mo, he has been better every year. So I think that he might actually step up, depending on Jalen Johnson, could be their number one cornerback this year. Getting Thieneman sucks. I thought he was definitely going to the Vikings. I thought he was going to go there.
Right.
End up, they skipped him, and I was like, yes. And then the Bears drafted him, which that really sucked because the Bears needed help at safety, and I did not want to see him get that help. They also drafted Kobe Bryant, which is a solid pickup for that back end. And now I don't think that they're going to generate as many turnovers as they did last year, especially Thieneman early on. I know he's a high draft pick, but playing safety in the NFL, you know, these NFL quarterbacks will manipulate you, will move you around, and that hopefully, people could take advantage of that early on, and hopefully Jared Goff could really take advantage of that, and we'll see. But he could develop into a really dangerous player, and I don't like that they got them. As far as the rest of the room, I don't know too much about any of these guys, to be honest with you. Not a lot of them are signed past this year. They did draft Malik Muhammad in the 4th round this year, so he's signed through 2029. But a lot of the other guys are just signed through this year. Not a lot of depth there, especially at safety. It's pretty lacking. So we'll see if in that that's you're going to count on Thieneman to come in and start right away, which that could be a tough ask.
And I mean, he's got big shoes to fill. Kevin fired with all the turnovers and everything that he did before, and now you have to replace him with the rookie.
Yep.
There's going to be some growing pains there, despite how athletic and how ready you think that he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Kobe Bryant had a solid year, rated 28th. The PFF rated him 28th, but he's got that Super Bowl, in his back pocket. Now he's going to Chicago, where he won't see one for a very long time. So
yeah, right.
All right, man. Anything else with the Bears before we move on to the Packers?
No, move on to the other losers.
Let's talk about this team in green that I don't like to talk about. Cornerbacks, they have Keyshawn Nixon, Benjamin St. I should have looked this up. Is it St. Justy? I think it's.
I thought it's Juicy. I thought it was
Juicy?
I thought it was a juice. I can look it up.
All right. He's got no juice.
He went to Michigan.
Oh, did he? I guess I forgot about that. Carrington
he transferred,
Valentine,
but yeah.
Shamar Bartholomew, Kamal Hayden, MJ Devonshire, Brandon Cisse, draft pick this year, 2nd rounder this year, actually. Marlon Jones, defensive back, they have Jalen Simpson, and at safety, they have Xavier McKinney, Javon Bullard, Evan Williams, Keaton Oladapo. I said that really good. Mark Perry, Jonathan Baldwin, and Marvin Kenyon. That's who they got at safety there. So where do you want to start talking about their defensive back room there, Jacob?
Well, I mean, let's start with the safeties, right? Because they're returning their safeties, Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams. Really, really good safety group, right? Yep. Very important part of the defense. And, for them to be able to continue and, bring the same guys back in the same system and everything is good for them. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. Not great for us, but, it's better for them.
Yep.
What do you think about... Yeah, I was just going to say, what do you think about... Because Keyshawn Nixon's been there for a minute. St. Juice is a new signing, though.
Yes, he is new. He's rated 12th. Came over from the Rams, but he only started 2 games, had 1 interception. So I don't know how he's rated 12th. I guess I don't think I'd really take too much stock in that rating. Keyshawn Nixon's 37. He's their number one. Rated 37. He's their number one. I think you're right. It starts with the safeties with this group. I think their cornerbacks are very lacking, but their safety group is really, really solid. It'll be interesting to see how this defense is different because they used, especially early on in the season, they were using, they were getting pressure. They were, they weren't letting anything go deep. And so Xavier McKinney's interception dropped because of the way that they were playing coverage. Now, next year, if, Parsons, is going to be missed in the beginning. You don't have Rashawn Gary anymore. Are they going to be playing defense differently? They got a new defensive coordinator. That might open, if they go some deep shots, Xavier McKinney's interception total might go up. 2 years ago, him and Kirby were fighting it out, and as the best safety in the league. So yeah, definitely worried about that room. There's cornerbacks though. First of all, the room is very low on bodies, in my opinion. And then you're wondering are they counting on Cisse, a 2nd round pick, to come right in and start or be ready? We've even seen that with Darius Slay with us, right? We drafted 2nd overall, and his first year he was rough, but then he turned out to be really solid. So it'd be tough ask for them to bring him in and ask him to play a lot of snaps early on.
Right, but to the Packers' credit, similar to the Vikings, Keyshawn Nixon played almost 1,100 snaps last year. Mm-hmm. Carrington Valentine, like 900 snaps or something like that. And I don't see him on your list. Is Trevon Diggs back with the Packers or not?
I don't think so.
Okay, he might still be a free agent, but
Mhm.
because they had him lurking as well. But you bring the top two guys back, and now you add the rookie, for a little bit of competition. So,
yeah, we'll see how it goes. But if they don't get the amount of pressure, those cornerbacks are really going to be out to dry on the outside. Like they really benefited from the pressure that Parsons was generating early on. So we'll see how that goes.
right.
All right, I'm ready to move on to let's rank the NFC North corner. We're going to break them down into cornerbacks and safeties. We're going to break them down. Do you want to go first, Jacob, or you want me to?
I'll go first. I'll go first
right.
for corners, and then you can go first for safeties.
Okay, sounds good.
Because then I don't have slides, and then that way you can do both your slides back to back.
Okay. All right.
All right, here we go with my NFC North rankings for the cornerbacks.
Okay.
So at number 4, I have the Chicago Bears. I feel like they've got a lot to prove. I think their corners are at the bottom right now. Number 3, I have the Green Bay Packers. They've got the experience together and everything like that, but I still, them at their best, I don't think is better than the other people on here. I put the Lions at number 2.
Okay.
I put our cornerback group second. Basically what I just said. If Terrion and DJ Reed are healthy, I think that they're two very good corners, and I think they could be the best in the North. I do have the Vikings at number 1 right now. And I don't know if that is necessarily just their corners, like talent-wise individually, or if it's because of the system that they play in, the way they play together, what Minnesota has going on. But I just think that they have the best cornerback group right now.
All right. I'm ready to go here. I'm going to... All right. Number 4 on my list, I have the Packers. I don't think the depth's there. Top line, Keyshawn Nixon might be solid, but that's where I have him. However, number 3, I have the Lions. And most of this is because of what we talked about early, injury issues. If everybody's healthy, I really like our room. And don't get me wrong, I think our depth might be the best in this league. I'm pretty happy with our depth. It's just top line talent, and we'll see if DJ Reed is back to where he was, where we thought he was going to be last year, or where he was in the first 4 games last year. Then I'm definitely happy. And if Terrion's back, then they definitely could move up this list. However, I am going to go with the Bears as number 2. Let's see.
Yeah, no, I want to hear the explanation for this one. This is interesting to me.
I think Jalen Johnson may be the best corner in our division if he's healthy. I really do. And that's the reason why I put him up there. However, he wasn't. He hasn't been. He hasn't been injury free. But we'll see how he ends up this year. His size is great too, 6 foot. We don't have that on our team. Tyreek Stevenson has gotten better each year. If you look at that, and I like looking at we talked about James Pierre with the Vikings, like a great PFF number, but lacking. Tyreek Stevenson has gone up each year since he's been in the league, so I do like that. They are kind of limited, but as far as depth wise, at least from my understanding, I don't really know too many of these players. But I think Tyreek Stevenson, Jalen Johnson, if Jalen Johnson's healthy, it could be really solid. However, I am going with the Vikings number 1. I agree with you that they play a lot of snaps. I like Isaiah Rodgers, get James Pierre, Byron Murphy. They're really good at the initial positions. However, I don't know if depth they could drop down. One of those guys gets injured and that room could look really bad really quickly. Especially, Flores puts everybody on an island and you have to really be able to play out there. So that'll be interesting, but that's the way I have it right now. I do like our room, even though I got them ranked at 3. It's mostly because of injuries last year.
Right. Here's a question for you though. If we could, let's say we could get Jalen Johnson, but we have to give up Terrion or DJ Reed. Would you do that, and who would you give up? Because you said you think that he could be he's the best corner in the North.
If he's healthy. I don't like giving up.
Also, the size thing.
Yeah.
You said he's the exact same size as Terrion Arnold.
Is he? Okay. I knew he's higher than DJ Reed.
DJ Reed is on the shorter side for a cornerback, but he usually makes up for it in speed, and it just, didn't quite do it last year.
His nose in the, putting his nose where in the run game and stuff like that. Would I trade Jalen Johnson for DJ Reed or Terry and Arnold. Was that your question?
Yeah. If we could get him and just trade straight up for DJ or Terrion, would you do it? And which one would you trade?
I don't think I'd want to trade Terrion just because of his age. DJ Reed, I would. I don't know what the salary structure is of this, so I can't really.
No, not
just,
not anything to do with that. Just talent, player, talent. Yes.
Player. I'd probably trade Jalen Johnson for DJ Reed if I could right now, if they're both healthy. Like if they were both in training camp playing, I think I would trade that. What about you? Or you rather have DJ Reed than Jalen Johnson?
It's tough because Jalen Johnson had like a very good year a few years ago. Yeah. And then he started coming back down to earth. And then last year he had the injuries. So this is kind of a big year for him too, because he's 27 years old. He's about to be 28, I think. He's got a big contract looming potentially if he goes back to form. So it's going to be very important for him to play well this year. And I don't know, do we see him more like he was 2 years ago, or do we see? I don't think he made all pro, but he was up there, right? Like he was close, wasn't he?
I think he was the number 1 rated defensive back 2 years ago in PFF.
Well, I mean, like,
yeah.
Hang on.
He
was second. Him? He was second team All Pro in 2023. That's what I was thinking. Is that he? So and he had a really, really good year. That's where it's tough because then you'd be banking on hopefully he returns to that form and the injury and stuff gets past him. Plus, with our defense, the way things work, I like the way that sounds, but I don't know. DJ Reed's still fresh too. We only had one year with him, and he wasn't healthy.
I know.
It's hard for me to commit to that.
Both years had injuries. Injuries affected both those guys last year. I don't know. I still think Jalen Johnson's also playing number 1 against the other team's number 1 all the time. DJ Reed was, especially with Sauce, he's playing the number 2. The number 2 guy all the time. So I don't know. It's close, but that's a good question.
All right, let's move on to your safety ranking.
All right, safety ranking. I'm going with. I think it's clear that the Packers have the number 1 safety team in this team. I think if we didn't have injuries, then I don't think it'd be as clear. But I'm going to go with Green Bay Packers number 1, Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams. Very good. Lions. I know injuries are huge in this, but Kirby, when Branch gets back, I like the depth that we have there. Izzy in there, Avonte Maddox, Chuck Clark, Thomas Harper. I think those are all solid players. So I'm going to say that. The Bears are 3rd. Thienemann's going to be solid. Kobe Bryant. However, Thienemann's a rookie, so asking him to step in is going to be huge, like I said earlier. And 4, I have the Minnesota Vikings. Losing Harrison Smith, losing that experience back there is maybe not so much a play, but just the experience is going to hurt. And there's not much depth that they have there. So that's where I have them. Where are you at?
So I actually have the Bears at number 4. And that's, they lost Byard. Same thing. They've got Thienemann, the rookie. We don't know exactly how that's going to play out yet. So I actually have them 4. And then I've got the Vikings 3, which we know who the Vikings are. They also lost Harrison Smith. They've got Metellus back. I don't think that it's a necessarily very solid group. So I definitely could see why you would have the Bears ranked higher depending on how Thienemann looks. I put the Packers at number 2. And this is obviously just, putting the injuries aside because it's a real debate, right now, if the Packers and Lions, because assuming Kirby is healthy, but Branch is not. But if Kirby and Branch are both healthy, I don't think that that's much of an argument. But Xavier McKinney is the real deal. And, Evan Williams has been a very, very solid safety, and they've both been out there. They both played 1,000 snaps last year. We've been battling the injury. So I have the Packers number 2 and the Lions number 1 because I think that Branch and Kirby are better combination than McKinney and Williams. But, to your credit for ranking them like that with the injuries, I don't think it's a question with Brian Branch being out and Kirby being banged up that the Packers have a better group.
Yep.
But I put the injuries to the side, and I did put the Lions first.
Yeah. I would love injuries to not be a factor here. And this time last year, we're feeling really good about that safety room, aren't we? We're like,
right.
Combination in the league, we're feeling really good. And then
don't really remind me.
It hurt. So, all right, man. Now let's get to our all-time favorite Lions at cornerback. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
All right. Hang on, you guys know I have technical difficulties here all the time, so I want to make sure that I get it up the right way.
Meanwhile, Riley Green just hit a home run. Dylan Dingler hit a home run earlier, so Tigers are up 2-1 right now. Thought I'd just give you a little update.
Right when we started, it was like instantly we were down.
Oh, and by the way, while you're looking that up, Dan Pasca's with us. So I want to say a shout out to Dan. He says that our pass rush should, and shoulds in quotes, help our secondary this year. And ideally, yes, right? We're, that we want to get. Dan has said we need to get more pass rush this year, and I think it's very important. So hopefully that happens. Well, just like everything, we'll see how it goes. But shout out to Dan for joining us again. All right.
What's up, Dan?
Go ahead.
All right. You can see my screen? We're good?
Yep, got it. We're good.
All right. So my top 3 Lions cornerbacks, which I was interested with the Lions that if we're going to have the same list for these or not. But all right, top 3 corners for the Lions. At number 3, I actually have Chris Houston.
Oh, man.
So he was there for a while, probably not during the greatest years, but this is also sort of like, when I'm playing Madden, getting a lot of interceptions with him on Madden. So
yeah,
me and Chris Houston have a better relationship there. 2, I have Dre Bly. He was there for a while too. Funny story about Dre Bly that I think it might have been like his first year with the Lions. This was like Joey Harrington, Charles Rogers. Like this was back when I like first was into it, and it was week 1, and he had a pick 6 to seal the game against the Cardinals. So it was that game where Bolden had like 200 yards or whatever. It was week 1.
Yeah.
But we ended up winning. Dre Bly pick 6 to seal the game. Like vibes were at an all-time high right there. I think I was like 12 or 13 years old. And then we ended up going like 5-11.
Yeah. I think I was playing a survivor pool, the survivor where you got to pick one team each week to move on.
Yeah.
And they were playing the Cardinals week 1. So I picked the Lions. I was like, I'm going to get them out of the way early because get my homer pick out of the way early. And I was nail biting that whole game, man. Oh, my God.
All right. Number 1, I don't think you'll be surprised by this, is Darius Slay.
Yes.
Obviously, big play Slay, one of my favorites.
Yep. Not much else you could say. He just had his retirement party.
Right,
I don't think Matt Patricia was probably invited, but Jim Caldwell did show up, so that's cool.
That was cool. What could have been.
All right. Our list looks very the same outside of one player, and I really had trouble with that third cornerback, to be honest with you. I was going back. I like Chris Houston. That was a good, pullback, but I went with Rasheed Mathis.
Yeah, Mathis.
I liked Mathis. I like what he came in here. Just we needed some help, and he was filled that number 2 role and sometimes number 1 role, depending on injuries or whatever. Darius Slay, favorite Lions cornerback, just so mad that he had to leave the Lions. Really wanted him back. Even when we started getting Campbell in here, would have loved it. Didn't really fit this defense as much. Really good in zone, not so much in man, but really loved big play Slay. So rough first year, and then he just played really good. And trading him away to the Eagles.
And yeah, man, it hurts.
Dre Bly was one of those free agent signings that worked out for the Lions, right? He comes from the Rams, signing him over here, back in when we really just celebrated the offseason because there wasn't a lot to celebrate during the season. And a lot of these signings like Trey Flowers, whatever else signing you want to say, they come here and they, just get the big money and they don't perform. Dre Bly was a guy that performed. Came back here as a coach, did not perform as much there one season, and he was out of a job. But I like Dre Bly, flashy cornerback, very confident. Just came here and gave it all. Yeah, and shout outs to Dre. All right, now we're gonna get into the top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL right now, as I see it. I'll go first since I have mine up there, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, this was interesting for me too to narrow it down to 5. Like I think we might have different lists. So I'd be disappointed. I'll be disappointed if we have the same 5.
Yeah, this was hard, to be honest with you, because some of it's projection and some of it's like just feel and there's so much that goes on cornerback. And quarterback play it could flip really quick. You can get burned on a couple big plays, you lose some confidence, injuries, stuff like that. It can really, really affect my perception of you. So I went with Sauce Gardner on there. I still think he's a top cornerback in this league. Slipped a little bit probably since his second year, and then he had the injury last year. I think the Colts gave up way too much for him, 2 first-round picks. However, I still think that he is a top cornerback in this league and could be higher on this list depending on health this year. Number 4, I went with Trent McDuffie, which just got traded to the Rams. God, I hate the Rams so much. I hope that they falter. I know they might be without one of their tackles because of a domestic issue. That could just put them apart. Like they don't have a good offensive line. Stafford gets hurt, and then all of a sudden Ty Simpson's in there. That could derail the whole season. I digress. Trent McDuffie goes to the Rams. The Rams do these things where they, get these players at their peak, and they've done it before with, Ramsey at cornerback, and they've had success. It's time for some of the stuff to start failing, though. So that's number 4. Number 3, Pat Surtain did not have a great year last year. I think the injuries affected him too, but I think he's a really good cornerback in this league. I'd love to have him on the Lions, lockdown corner like that. Number 2, I put Quinion Mitchell on there. He is good. I know we talked about him being compared to Terrion. He's very sticky, and whether he doesn't get called for pass interference or whatever, I still think that he's a really good cornerback in this league. Number 1, Devin Witherspoon. Oh my gosh, could have been a Lion. Then we wouldn't have Gibbs or Laporta, so we have to keep that in mind. But God, would he fit in a Dan Campbell, Kelvin Shepard defense or what? Just perfect for that. So he is my number 1 cornerback. I'll tell you, one of my, David Montgomery laid him out in that one play, right? Just absolutely just destroyed him. But when you watch that, he gets up and ends up chasing him out of bounds. That's the type of player that I want on the team, especially in my secondary. He's been healthy. Now he's a Super Bowl champion. So that is my number 1 cornerback in this league right now. I'm curious to see your list, though.
Yeah. Yeah, Witherspoon's awesome.
Dan Pass likes your jersey choice there, by the way.
Yeah, right? Darius Slay had to do it. All right.
One of the pajama tops. Yeah.
Top 5 current cornerbacks for me. At number 5, I have Derek Stingley from the Texans. Very good in coverage, maybe not quite in run support, but I mean, his reaction time is so quick. He's so good. And he's got to do it a lot in Houston. Number 4, I put Christian Gonzalez for the Patriots. I like the way that he plays. He's a tall cornerback. This one was kind of hard for me because, spoiler alert, I did not put McDuffie or Quinion Mitchell on the list, and they were both right in the conversation with him.
Okay.
Quinion Mitchell, though, I can't tell if it's because he's from Toledo, and that's why I just want him to do better and, put him under a microscope, I guess. But Gonzalez, really solid cornerback in New England. I've got Sauce at number 3. Like you said, the Colts gave up too much to get him, and now I think he's going to be scrutinized a little more.
Yeah.
Just because of, now right when he got traded is when everything went downhill for the Colts last year, which was not his fault, and he had the injury and everything too. But now the Colts are going to be, in the fans and the organization, like, man, we sold our future to get Sauce, and now Sauce, if he gives up a touchdown, it's going to be the end of the world. So I still think he's a top cornerback in the league. Very good in coverage. Number 2, I put Witherspoon. You already said it. Does everything the right way. Really like what he's about. But I have Pat Surtain number 1. I flip forward to my GOAT, so you're going to see that. But Surtain, Defensive Player of the Year, and one of the weaker Defensive Player of the Year, contests, I guess you would say. But I still think that he is the best cornerback in the league right now. And I'm going to go over my GOAT because you already saw it right there real quick. But Deion Sanders, pretty much anything that you want. He has the All-Pros, has the Pro Bowls, has the Super Bowls, multiple teams. He's done it in multiple teams. He did, he played baseball and football. So I just think Deion Sanders is the GOAT for the cornerbacks.
So how much of him did you watch? Because he got drafted in Barry Sanders' draft. So you saw,
when I was really little,
obviously.
So when I was really little, when I wasn't week in and week out following like the Lions roster and everything like that, I liked the Cowboys before the Lions because the Cowboys were the ones that were on TV and the Cowboys were the ones that were winning. So I had like an Emmitt Smith jersey and I had the, like the Deion Sanders and Emmitt Smith, like the little figures and different things like that.
Okay.
So that was probably like very early memories was Deion Sanders and the Cowboys because I was probably only like 7, 8 years old back then.
Yeah. I'm curious. I was wondering if because I was wondering how much you saw of him. I'll just say that he's mine too. I'll put mine up here. So Dion was like, especially you never saw this part of him though, but him playing baseball, he was playing baseball and football, just kind of like the whole both things. Definitely better at football than he was baseball, but his speed was unreal. His ability to talk, his ability to talk trash on the field was, I think it's important for a cornerback to be able to do that. Remember his time at Dallas, they had tried to put him in trick plays on offense. You just wanted the ball in this guy's hand. He was, special teams, be able to return punts, especially with Atlanta, was returning kicks for touchdowns. Pretty amazing player. When you picture a lockdown corner, I think of Deion Sanders just locking down one side of the field. Did Revis come into your conversation at all for this? Were you thinking about Darrelle Revis, or was there anybody else that was even close for Deion Sanders for you?
I think Revis popped in my mind, but there was not a true legitimate conversation for me between them. Although Revis, when I was actually like fully locked in watching football, Revis was the one, Revis Island and everything like that was he was the gold standard. Charles Woodson also because of the Michigan thing, he's somebody good, but I didn't have to think too hard about that one.
Yeah. One thing I've been kind of disappointed with our whole other GOATs is that number one, we've matched. I think we've matched on all.
I'm surprised, right? I did not see that coming.
Surprised with 10 years difference. I thought that maybe we'd have a little bit different perspective on things, but which would have been fine and good conversation. However, I've been kind of disappointed. And I think when we get to quarterbacks, we're not going to just do GOAT. We're going to do like our top 5 all-time quarterbacks because I think the number one is probably going to be Brady without spoiling anything. And that'll be boring. So I think we need to do top 5 quarterbacks. And I'd be really curious to see what your top 5 are compared to mine because our generations are a little different and it might impact who we rate in there. So
definitely
a little tease.
You can tell me what it was like to watch Joe Namath.
Yeah, be like back when they used to just do 2 passes a game. It was awesome watching them do that.
Yeah.
All right, man. All right, let's move on to our top. I think we have the top Lions safeties right now, right? Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first. You got yours up. You might as well keep going.
All right. Mine are old school Benny Blades, hard hitter, just like heart of the defense. Loved him on the Lions. Just he was great. Bryant Branch. Currently, I love the way he plays football. So sad to see him get injured, but man, he's exciting to watch. Just making plays. Just one of those guys that he did test well because of his speed, right? But he has experience. Football IQ gives him so much more speed. He just could diagnose a play and just shoot right in there. And you saw that our run defense went down after he was gone, and that a lot of that I think was Bryant Branch shooting in there. But my number one currently right now, and that's subject to change depending on how Bryant Branch's career goes here, is Glover Quinn. Love Glover Quinn. Got podcasts for Lions. He still loves the Lions. I shout out. I love Glover Quinn. So he's my favorite one. I still remember him picking off Drew Brees one time and jumping up off my couch just screaming in jubilation. So I love Glover Quinn. And I bet he's on your list too, but why don't you go ahead and share yours, Jacob?
All right.
And Dan says the other Philadelphia cornerback, Cooper DeJean, he was a good pickup too. And I was a big Cooper DeJean fan.
You wanted us to draft him. He was on your radar.
He was on my radar during that draft. So I would have liked him on a team. I was happy getting Terry on because I didn't think we were going to move up. I thought we were going to be drafting later in the draft, and Cooper would have been a good pick at that back end of the first round, and we wouldn't have to give up capital. So who knows?
True.
But But anyways, go ahead. I want to hear your safeties.
All right. I will start off by saying that I did not include Branch or Kirby on here.
Oh,
And Branch is right there, absolutely.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Yeah.
when it's all said and done, he could be at the very top of the list.
all right.
But my third person that I have is Louis Delmas.
Yeah, short career, but yeah, great.
Right. He was just so maybe that was another Madden thing. Hit stick with Delmas, forcing fumbles and everything. He was from Western Michigan too, right? Didn't he go to college in Michigan? Yeah, right. So he's just got the Michigan thing. Detroit player. Obviously did not go the way that we thought it would, but I've got him number 3. Number 2, Quandre Diggs.
Yes.
So I really, really like Quandre Diggs, man. And that was another one that was like, man, Patricia just ruined everything, blew everything up. What could have been. And that, for a while there, it was like, man, bring him back. Now, obviously, he's not the player that he was when he left, but he was good and he got better, right when he left as well. And number 1, Glover Quinn. I think he played for like 5 or 6 years or something like that for the Lions. Some of the better years that we had, he was part of that. I already forgot the year now. 2016, 2015, the year, the playoff thing happened. So,
I think that was isn't that 13? That
was it? I'm further on. Yeah.
The Cowboys. I think that was 13.
Okay,
but I could be wrong.
I have to go look. I try to forget, but no, Glover Quinn. Definitely, I would say like the gold standard right now for Lions safeties. He was here for a while, did everything the right way, smart player, was a bright spot for the defense for sure. And then I included the picture. You mentioned Slay's retirement party. That's actually, that's Quandre Diggs, Darius Slay, and Glover Quinn at
nice.
Slay's retirement party. So yeah, 3 of my favorites there.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome pick.
All right, I'm going to do my GOAT because I'm here. Yeah, no. Yeah. Sorry. Glover Quinn, the best.
Yeah.
And like you said, Brian Branch, I mean, he's on the cusp of, being towards the top as well. Glover Quinn was not a draft pick either. He came from the Texans, I believe. So that was a signing.
He was a good signing.
Right.
Sure.
Right. One of the times the signings worked out back then.
Yep.
All right. This is interesting for me because it wasn't too. I didn't have to think too hard.
This is our top 5. Are you doing your top 5?
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me stop sharing because I think that my GOAT is next, but no, it's not. It's my top 5. So you do your top 5 and your GOAT because I want to see yours first. Yes.
Okay. All right. I will share here.
But the GOAT safety was one I knew who I wanted to pick, but I was thinking like I don't think that you picked the same one. So this one. That's going to be interesting for the GOAT.
All right. So Julian Love, number 5 safety, had a good year with Seattle. Seattle's defense was so good last year. Obviously winning the Super Bowl. So I went with them at number 5. Number 4, Mika Fitzpatrick went to the Jets this year. We'll see how that works out for him. But it's funny, just go between the Steelers and the Dolphins. You don't see good players like that getting shipped around that much. So, and it's not like he has bad character traits or anything like that. So it's just interesting how he's moved around, but solid safety. Would like him on my team. Went with Petre for that Texans defense. So tough. It also helps when you're getting so much pressure back there as a safety, right? You could jump routes. You could play a little more aggressive. That probably helps his statistics, but that's just a solid defense. Number 2, I went with Xavier McKinney. Health has a lot to do with it why he's up here, but they stole one from the Giants. Green Bay did, and he's been solid ever since he's been in that green and yellow. And number 1 is Kyle Hamilton's my number 1 current safety. God, drafted him pretty high, but he wasn't like, this is what I think about Thieneman is that Kyle Hamilton, was drafted higher than him. He did play exceptionally well the first year. It's not like his rookie season was great, but now he is elevated to a level that he is probably the best safety in the league. Super smart, got the size, got the athletic traits. Just, I really like Kyle Hamilton, and he's good. So, do you want me to do my GOAT, or you want to do your top 5 first?
No, do your GOAT while you're in
here.
my
GOAT. All right, I'm going with Ed Reed. I'm curious that I went back and forth. I wanted to go with Ronnie Lott just from like old school safety, like just smash mouth, like I'm gonna put my head through your chest kind of look. But Ed Reed, could play defense, but he had Ray Lewis to do all that intimidation stuff. Ed Reed just was smarter than everybody on the football field. He knew where you were going to go. You listened to Tom Brady talk about Ed Reed, and Ed Reed just playing mind games with them, just tempting quarterbacks to throw or, just moving their eyes all over. So, like, Ed Reed was just, and when he got the ball, he could score too. Like, that was the thing about it. Like, he could get the ball and he could put it in the end zone, get you a pick six. So, that's where I'm at right now. So I'm curious where you're at. So why don't you show me your top 5 and then lead into your GOAT?
All right. Top 5 current safeties.
Yep.
Number 5, I put Minka Fitzpatrick on the Jets. He's been good for a while. I just think that he's towards the top, not playing on the best of teams, but he's been a bright spot for their defenses. He's been doing the right things. Number 4, I have Xavier McKinney on the Packers. It's funny because when him and Kirby were going back and forth, I still feel like Kirby was better and Kirby deserved more. And now the injury happened with Kirby. He's got a long road ahead. Who knows if he's ever going to be going back. And then McKinney played pretty well again last year and proved that he deserves to be at the top. Mm-hmm. Number 3, I actually have Brian Branch on the Lions. I would take Branch above McKinney. I think he's one of the best. Now, the injury thing, it's going to be slow coming back. I don't think that he's necessarily going to look like that this year. But I'm hoping, he's got all-pro potential for sure. He could be towards the top and be one of the best safeties in the league. And I've got him at the top right now. I've got Derwin James, number 2. And this is somebody else that, he's been doing it for so long and has been playing at a high level for so long. Very smart football player. I had to include him in my top. But number 1, Kyle Hamilton. So we agree there. It's not too often that you get, a 6'4" safety that, can lay the hit stick, but also is just like so great in coverage and just locking everybody down. His instincts are super high. I mean, yeah, he's definitely a weapon on defense for sure. And then speaking of Baltimore Ravens weapons on defense, we went with the same go. I did not think you were going Ed Reed. I thought you were going to do the Ronnie Lott, I thought maybe Polamalu or like somebody, Woodson or just somebody different. But yeah, for me, like Ed Reed's the GOAT. Took away like a complete side of the field. And he was just, trying to, like you said, Tom Brady talked about it too. He's trying to trick quarterbacks. He's baiting them. He's a ball hawk. And absolutely, every single time he got an interception, he's looking to take it to the house. And he was very, incredibly shifty on these interception returns, too. But he was not afraid to get dirty. He had Ray Lewis with him. He's not afraid to hit. I mean, I think he's just the epitome of what you want your safety to be.
Yes.
But yeah, I saw the other safeties on the top list. Dawkins, I thought maybe Dawkins you would go with. Or there's some solid safeties. I'm very surprised we picked the same one.
Yeah, Ed Reed was he had it all, man. He could, I think the important thing is that he could score with it too. Not only was he getting the ball, but he's not waiting for the offense. Because back when he was playing, that offense, you didn't know if they were going to score. So sometimes their defense would outscore their offense at that time.
Yeah, true.
Reed was, he's just, playing games with the quarterback at that point. But totally solid. I all those names that you mentioned are just amazing players. Ronnie Lott, when I would play, was just like it also, he wore those huge shoulder pads too, so it made him look so much bigger. And then you could actually, you would go, those guys go head hunting at that time. That's what they would, and those hits look so dangerous. Now you don't play that way anymore, but. And I'm not saying he was a dirty player or anything like that. That's just how football was played at that time. But he was, he was a very good player. But
there was no defenseless receiver back then. You're toast if the quarterback throws it up in the air like that.
No, I miss some of that. I don't miss head hunting or anything like that. But I do miss the worry of getting hit like that. That really affected it. And I don't I don't like the league turning into arena football or tag football or whatever like that. I still like it's a dangerous game. You should be able to have some intimidation factor in there, but you shouldn't also like go helmet to helmet or whatever like that. But it is football. Like I don't. Jack Campbell says, they try to legislate a lot of that out of the game, but at the end of the day, two guys are trying to kill each other out there. I don't want to see them eliminate all that.
Right. It's touchy. They're trying to make it cleaner, but I mean, they're taking a lot away. But at the same time, these hits and stuff still happen. So,
100%.
And these guys are bigger, stronger, and faster than they were back then.
That's a thing too, man. It's like the impact that they can have, like in small ranges too, right? Like they don't need a running like. I think you might even know this guy. Steve Atwater was a huge hitter, like in the '90s, safety, like late '80s, '90s, and like you picture these guys running across the field and just smoking someone, but these guys have such short range explosion now that you could really, really, really hurt someone. And training's gotten better. Obviously, people don't take the off season off anymore, so it's like these physical specimens are just getting stronger and faster at speeds that are just unsafe. But we love football, right? So
right,
that's just
right.
the way it is. Tigers just scored; they're up 3-2. So, all right, I want to talk to you real quick about something I did this weekend. Saw Masters of the Universe, He-Man.
Oh.
Now, this is probably like something that you like. Do you even know anything about He-Man, or is that mean anything to you?
I know He-Man and I know Skeletor. One of my cousins used to collect like all the He-Man like action figures and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin, who I think is your age, so he used to collect all of that stuff. But I've never seen the show. I know what it is, and actually, I saw the trailer. I was like, the movie kind of actually looks okay. How was it though?
It was good. I liked it. Like some of it's campy. It has some of the Marvel humor, like when something's getting heavy and then someone says a joke, which I'm kind of getting tired of that, to be honest with you. It's funny and I still laugh, but I like sometimes heavy moments should be heavy and you shouldn't like try to make everything comical. But I did like it. It was so like there was so many like stuff that were brought back from like the TV show that I caught that my boys didn't catch. And it wasn't like integral to the plot or anything like that. It's just stuff they used to do in the cartoon and they would just kind of make it campy and just put it in the show and you kind of know.
It's like Easter eggs or kind of things just for fans,
it was
true
like
fans.
Jared Leto played Skeletor, which I was very worried about, but actually he did a really, really good job.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so Jared Leto did the voice. I don't know like if it was motion capture or not, or if that was all CGI, but it
kind of looked cool.
It's like it was like there was some stuff on Earth that I didn't really care about till they got to like Eternia, which is the planet He-Man's from. But the way they used everyone's name, they had a really I'm not going to ruin it here, but they had a really fun way of like why these characters were named the way they were why He-Man was named his name, because obviously He-Man is like a really weird name, like He-Man.
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't know, but it was good. It's exactly what I wanted a movie like this to be. Now in the 80s there was a live action movie with Dolph Lundgren as He-Man, but it was like all on Earth because they didn't have like a CGI budget to do like a fantastical
right.
It wasn't going to be Star Wars where they could spend all this money on CGI. So they did it all on Earth, and Skeletor was not CGI, had a mask, but the guy that played Skeletor did a really good job in the 80s. And this is kind of a very similar type thing. Skeletor was really well done, so it was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. My boys went with me, and I got Preston into He-Man cartoons when he was very similar ages when I was in them, like 4 or 5 or something like that, and he liked it there. The only reason he went to this movie is because he was going to get snacks. Like that's the only reason that he went. Bradley wanted to go see. He saw the trailer, liked it. Bradley loved it, and Preston actually he goes, I thought it was going to be a kiddie movie, but there was actually swears in it and there was good action. So Preston liked it. He liked the movie a lot. So it was a good movie. I don't think you necessarily had to see. I think you would probably like the action and stuff like that, and your kids would probably think it was a good movie, even if you had no familiarity with the cartoon at all.
Right. I have no connection to it, but when is the last? I just want to, because you said the guy that played the Skeletor in the 80s one did a good job. When was the last time that you watched that, though?
2 or 3 years ago, I saw it. He did a good job. Like
I told you about this blindness and how there's like certain 90s movies that I can't watch because it's like it ruins them because they're so bad.
Actually, I think this was one that like when I saw it when I was a kid, I was disappointed because it didn't follow the cartoon as much. So when I saw it as an adult, I mean, it's still very not like a great movie, but I saw it and I was like not as disappointed because I kind of knew that going in that it was going to be on Earth or whatever. So I was able to like enjoy it on a different level. And I did like it. I mean, it's a pure 80s movie. It's a pure 80s movie. Kids would not like it because, there's no CGI in it and all this, it just looks old.
Right.
But it is what it is. But I think they did a perfect job with this movie. It just blows my mind that I'm 46. When I saw that cartoon came out when I was 3, it took them this long to make a good movie, like out of that cartoon series. Like it's insane to me. 43 years.
I wonder how it's gonna do at the box office. Like I wonder how many people are like hammering for this movie to come out. Because the trailer did look good, but
yeah, it did not do well. Hopefully, word of mouth is good. But also Amazon produced it, so I think at the end of the day, the box office means probably not as much to them as if it gets streamed a lot.
Right,
if it gets streamed a lot, then they might make the second movie just. You could have a decent budget for a streamer now. It's not like it's not like old days direct to DVD. It's gonna be crap.
Right.
You can have a direct to streaming and be good. So.
Yeah, my kids are counting down the days for the Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
We're big on Spider-Man, so we definitely circle that one as soon as it comes out. Go see it.
Are you going to be on there day one? Are you a day one guy with Spider-Man?
Most of the time, yes, but it's not always something where it's like, I do not go like, oh, we've got to go see it at midnight and I've got to be first in line. Definitely not. Yeah. Like I'll go at like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, like just we'll go in the next morning and see it. Especially because the mall in Monroe where we go to, like when Spider-Man comes out, it'll probably be in like 8 of the 12 different screens that they have. They'll be playing Spider-Man on 8 of them, so you'll it's gonna sell out. You'll be able to see it. So yeah, can't wait for that one. The Spider-Verse movie does not come out until next year, and that's probably even more of a everyone's anticipating that one. So.
I know. I can't wait. Those are great Spider-Man movies. Those probably are my favorite Spider-Man movies, to be honest with you.
Right.
I like
very
the Tom
good movies.
Holland stuff, but I think that those Spider-Verse movies are really, really good. They're just the animation was so unique, especially at the time. I mean, they've been copied a couple times since then, but the story, using Miles Morales, there's just the music is amazing. I listen to 100% all the time.
Yes,
and
for both of
them, like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Yep. I'll listen to it when I'm at while I'm working or whatever. It's good and it's amazing the feeling that soundtrack just makes you feel like you're watching the movie. They're so integral to the movie experience. Pretty cool.
Yeah, no, they did a almost close to perfect as you can get with those movies, in my opinion.
Yep. Dan says, cannot wait for the third Spider-Verse movie too. God,
right.
It seems like forever. Like, because they had the writer's strike, and then they just.
I knew. So when the second one came out, the third one was supposed to come out like less than a year later.
Yeah.
And I knew at the time, I was like, man, it takes them so long to make this. Like, I can't believe. It's like they must already have it ready, and they're just waiting, to build anticipation. Yeah. Boy, was I wrong. And then the writer's strike and everything, like, sucks.
Yeah, it does. But it'll be worth it. It's so funny because, like, the length that they come out, the first one, the very first Spider-Verse movie was one of the first movies that all 4 of us went to as a family together. And Kingpin scared Bradley so much. I mean, Bradley was probably like 4 or 5 that he had to leave the theater. So Sarah walked him out and he couldn't watch it. Preston and I watched the whole movie. And then
how old's Bradley now?
Bradley is going to turn 12 this year in December. So yeah, so
he had to be like maybe 6. That was before COVID. So maybe like 8 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like he was like 5 maybe.
Right.
And so
wow.
It was, it just you know, I get it. He was a scary character or whatever, and the music's loud. It's a theater. We weren't used to being there, but now it's one of his favorite. Like those are his favorite movies, like his go-to movies. Like, okay, I've watched everything. I'm bored. Dad's not letting me watch YouTube anymore. I'll watch Spider-Verse.
Right.
And I get it. So I am really looking forward to that movie. I kind of forgot about that, to be honest with you, that's even on the horizon. But are you super excited for this Spider-Man movie? Like this Tom Holland one. I'm really excited about it.
I know that the rumors and the different things I've seen in the trailer, they're kind of taking in a different direction. My thing is like we're big Spider-Man fans and I've been forever. So every Spider-Man movie that comes out, I love and it's like awesome and I think that it's great. I've been told it's funny because me and my friend argue about this because he likes Batman and I like Spider-Man. And some of the Batman movies that come out, I'm like, man, because he just thinks they're great. He loves Batman. All these Batman movies are great. But I'll watch them and I'll be like, man, I just don't think it was that good of a movie. So it's like I don't know if we're just blind to it because we're, such big fans no matter what kind of crap they put out. But Marvel does pretty good for the most part. And, we'll see what kind of story that they do. Everyone forgets that he's Spider-Man. He's back to being broke and more true to the comic books and that kind of thing. And, we'll see what happens. So I can't wait for it.
Well, I could tell you that in the theater, I geeked out when, Andrew Garfield showed up in the last one. Like,
oh yeah,
he took
right.
out the mask and like, you kind of knew it was coming, like, because there was kind of rumors about it. So if I'd have really not, but it wasn't for sure confirmed at that point, it wasn't obviously in the trailers or anything like that. So when it happened and it really was like, oh my God, they're actually doing this. And then, Tobey Maguire showed
it's happening.
up and you're like, oh my God, this is real.
Right. Funny story about that too. Cause so I took my kids to see that. So that was just Milo and JJ because, I think Knox was born. He just was too small. Either way, but I went with my cousin and she had her kids too and her family. And we're in the movie theater and like right as that is about to happen, she has to get up to take the little one to the bathroom. So she gets up and goes to the bathroom and then she comes back and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are on the screen. I was like, you missed the biggest moment.
Oh man.
I was like, what a time. And that, it's funny that when I take Knox now, Knox is only 4, I have to make sure that we get one of the theaters that are closer to the bathrooms.
Oh.
Because I never know when he's going to need a bathroom break, and I don't want to miss the movie. And it's inevitable that I'm going to have to go refill this kid's slushie like 2 or 3 times during this movie.
Yeah, I told Preston tried to get me to refill his pop during Masters Universe, and I'm like, dude, you're almost 15. You could go out there and do this yourself. I'm not doing that. You got to go do that. But yeah, I'll sometimes get like a slushie or something like that. But then like I inevitably have to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, I don't like that feeling at the end. All right, serious. I'll go to no one wants to hear about this, but my Spider-Man thing. All right, I don't know if I've ever asked you. So Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland. Rate them as far as your Spider-Man. Like or number 1, number 2, number 3.
That's very hard to do for somebody that's my age because they were all different parts of my life. Like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man when I was like 9 or 10 years old. And then Andrew Garfield was when I was in high school. So that one felt more real to me. And then Tom Holland, as an adult. It's hard for me. I don't know that I can do that. I really like the Andrew Garfield movies. And I liked Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I guess I would have to put him number 1. And then I would say Tom Holland 2, Tobey Maguire 3. And that's because of maybe plot lines and the way the movies worked out and everything as well. Not just them 100% themselves as Spider-Man.
All right.
What do you got?
I will do. All right. So you'll probably call this a little cheating, but I'm going to say Tom Holland is the best combination of the two of Peter Parker, Spider-Man. I think Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man out of all 3 of them. Like the character when he was Spider-Man.
Yes.
I think that because he got the
You're right.
of being a smartass and just like that. Like I liked that part. I think Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker because out of all of them that could be a nerd, I totally believe that Tobey Maguire could be the nerd type character. Tom Holland's too good looking to be like I mean he's a good actor and I do believe that like he is really friends with Ned and all that like that. I get that, but to me, Tobey Maguire just kind of looks more like a nerd. But the Spider-Man, he never really got like the quips that Andrew Garfield did. So I think Garfield's best Spider-Man. Tom Holland's the best combination. Tobey Maguire's the best Peter Parker. That's how I view him, at least.
I will say, so we'll see after this next movie how you feel about it too, though, because Tobey Maguire, a little more true to the comic books, but they had the Uncle Ben stuff with Tobey Maguire. Tom Holland didn't have to have that thing. Tobey Maguire had the whole thing with Mary Jane and had to go through, being broke and trying to make it in the city and turning on the scanner and listening for crime. Like all of that stuff happened, where Tom Holland was a completely different, like the Uncle Ben stuff. All the becoming Spider-Man happened off screen. He just was Spider-Man. And then almost instantly he's got Tony Stark giving him the super suit. It was just a completely different feel for Tom Holland. So this movie is going to be him with his homemade suit, him trying to make it on his own. So this will be interesting to revisit this question when you see him in that light.
I agree. I think that this will be good. I like the grounding of Spider-Man. We'll see what other characters show up. Punisher's already in the trailer. I have a feeling that some other people are going to show up in this.
Oh, 100%.
I like the lower tech. I did not like giving Spider-Man all that tech, although I thought the writing was good. Like he didn't master all that stuff really well. I do like grounding him a little more. I do like taking away his friends, and like I think that'll be an emotional part. The trailer's got me. There's a lot of, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, so I won't go any further, but there's a lot of interesting stuff in the trailer as far as like his growth and stuff. So I'm curious how that's all going to be shown on the screen, but I am really looking forward to this movie. I am not a midnight person either, because I want to be awake during this movie, and I don't know if I can do that and enjoy a movie until 2 a.m. anymore.
And then have to drive home? No, forget it.
Yeah. Now I got Preston now. Preston drives me home, man.
Yeah.
All high on slushies.
Yeah.
So I will, but I don't know if it'll be a Friday thing or not. We went to Bradley's a Boy Scout, so we went to Masters Universe. I went to like a 3:30 show and got the matinee price, so $7 a ticket in Adrian, and we had comfortable seats. So like I was like, maybe I'll do that. The only reason I want to see the movie early though is because it gets ruined so fast. Like if anything shows up, like any character shows up, and it's not like I'm even looking for it to be ruined. It'll be just like in my Google feed, like
exactly. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Right. Yeah. Yep.
And I don't want to see that. So that's my only incentive to seeing it early, is that I don't get things ruined for me. All right, man. We've been going on for a little over an hour and a half. I think it's time for us to skedaddle here. Next week, offensive line. We're going offensive line, the engine of the Detroit Lions. So we're going to be talking that. And then, by the time we end the series, it's going to be almost training camp time, which is going to be awesome. So
perfect timing.
Offensive line. So anything before we take off here, Jacob?
No, I'm ready, man.
All right. Tigers up 3-2 as I'm talking. Hopefully they hold on here. Keep June going real well. So for Jacob, I'm Jason. Let's go Lions.